All right, I'm sitting down here with Annemarie with Legacy Property Management. Annemarie, how's it going?
It is going great. Fun
So we
times
had
right now.
lots of people listen to last month's update. They loved it. Just a quick refresher, who are you and who is Legacy Property Management?
Yeah, we are a smaller property management company in the southern portion suburbs of Denver. We do go through the city. We specialize primarily in single family homes. We manage about 150 in our portfolio and growing every month, it seems. And we love to take care of our owners. Our probably our primary person or is the person that is afraid to lease out their house. They bought a house, they're getting moved. It's just the one-off investor. But we do have
Mhm.
a plethora of folks that own three or more properties with us.
Great. Well, I just want to jump into stats because I know that's what people are dying to hear. And I know when we spoke in May for April, you were, I think, 100% collection.
Correct.
Now we're recording this on June 5th. How did things pan out in the month of May for you?
100%.
Again?
Yep.
All right. Were there more rental plan or like payment plans or more late payments, or is it all pretty normal?
No rental plans as of yet. No one's asked for a rental plan or rent relief. I think I had two late payers, so it was really minimal. Everyone seems to be getting them in and keeping it on their auto pay. And for June, we are looking to be 100%. There's a couple of stragglers that usually come in and their lease is written that they can pay as late as the 8th. So those few people, that's not considered late. That's actually still per their lease. They are allowed to pay waiting on a paycheck. But yeah, we're
Okay.
doing great.
And what do you have like a rough percentage for June so far? Are you in the 90s, in the 80s for rent?
Absolutely in the 90s. I
Okay.
mean, I just kind of went through the numbers before we jumped on here, and it looks like almost everyone is paid up right now.
Wow.
And I gotta say, Chris, our business is slightly different. The average rent that we have is about 2,700, and so we don't have those. I mean, we do, but we don't. The plethora of our properties or our rents are not below 2,000, and those are the folks that have been hit the hardest by this COVID crisis. They're in the service industry and they've had to ask for or request rent relief, and that's one of the reasons why we haven't been impacted and why I keep stating we're at 100%.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, fantastic. So what other, like, I mean, from your advantage point, we talked about 30 days ago. Any other trends or anything that jumped out over the last 30 days as far as your trends you're seeing, leasing trends, anything like that the last month?
So I was going to say one thing that we are doing is continual communication with our tenants to please have a conversation with us. Don't wait until rent is due that you're not going to be able to make rent. So they all have been told and requested that. We've reminded them about the stimulus check so that they can use that. That's meant for rent. That's not meant to go, or groceries, but it's not really meant to go on a vacation. In terms of trends, I got to tell you, so normal high leasing months in Denver is March, April, May, and usually part of June. This year, our leasing went bonkers starting in February, so pre-COVID, and we have not stopped leasing and going strong since February. I am blown away every month. I think I'm looking at my board, I think we have about 15 properties up for lease right now. Some people renewed, others did not, and they did not renew, so they're listed. And then I have some new properties coming into the portfolio that are just being put up for lease right now.
Okay. And as far as like leasing times and rental rates, what are you seeing on those two amounts and like vacancy rate or
Yeah.
vacancy time?
So houses still are going the best and the quickest. So still 30 to 45 days, maybe even less on a house. Those still seem to be the most in demand. There are a couple of caveats. It's a little bit based on the area in town, okay? Condos are still taking the longest. I mean, almost painful, 60 days at least.
So
Now,
like that means like 60 days vacancy or 60 days from when you start marketing them?
60 days from when we start marketing them. Some of them are new into the portfolio, so they've been vacant that whole time, which is hard for owners. And now I say that, and I got to tell you, we've had 2 Capitol Hill listings and they went like within 4 weeks. So, and that's very uncommon for a condo, but yeah, that, you know, I don't see any change in the shift of how leasing time frame has changed with COVID or not COVID. It's always been the same for us, pretty much.
Okay.
In terms of rates, yeah, they're not as high as they have been. Certainly in 17 and 16, we had great rates. We haven't, I don't feel like we're below average for sure, but we have had to adjust a little bit on our rent rates just to get more traffic through the property.
So is that, I mean, let's just say, for example, I know you land a lot of like single families in Highlands Ranch, Littleton, and those rent for what, $25 to $3,000 a month. Are you dropping them $50 a month, $100 a month? Like, what are you having to drop to kind of
No,
get?
usually it's $100. So
Okay.
like a 3-bedroom in Highlands Ranch is probably around 20, depending on square footage, but probably around $23.95. I hesitate to go $22.95 yet. They'll still lease around $23.95. So if the house is in good shape and we're still in a hot time of the market, certainly May was still hot. We might have tried to lease it or started at $24.95, drop down, 14 days to $23.95. So Highlands Ranch is still leasing well. Even through the center of Denver, University Hills, we're leasing quickly there.
So it sounds like also like you're not seeing different neighborhoods or pockets of Denver lease faster or slower or higher or lower compared to other parts. Just in general, it's all kind of the same across the board.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I've got a couple that are North Park Hill and they're not going well, but that's more neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely neighborhood driven. The house and the square footage justifies a higher rent rate, but the neighborhood doesn't. So we have to keep pulling it down.
Yeah. And so we are what, like 2 months plus into the pandemic. When this first hit, how is the rental market in reality versus what you thought it was 2 or 3 months ago? Like, did you expect it to be worse, better, about the same, like from your perspective?
Well, let's see. Listening to everyone, I expected I was going to have issues getting rent in.
Yeah.
And so I'm very blessed and grateful that I have not. And I really haven't had to pester the majority, maybe one off, just, hey, rent was due. And we have removed, per the executive order, all late fees. So we're not charging late fees even if they get it in late. I did not expect the leasing activity to be as crazy as it has been. I mean, I keep saying, if it wasn't for COVID and we were able to do all of what we normally do, I don't know if we could have sustained it. I mean, it has been unbelievable this year. There are so many people moving all over, either in and out of the state or across the state, across the city. I am blown away at how much leasing activity we have had this spring. And I would say to you that because of COVID, our practices, we have modified the way we do our processes and procedures now in terms of showing, because we personally show, we do no self-showings. And so, of course, we had to modify that during shelter in place, but the property managers have found a phenomenal system to weed out a lot of looky-loos before we head to property now to show a unit. And that's been phenomenal for us. So we've weeded out a lot of, we pre-screen much heavier now before we drive out of the property.
Well, outstanding. I mean, you answer all my questions. You got any like final thoughts or tips you want to share with investors and landlords that are listening to us?
No, I mean, I guess, Chris, the thing that comes up the most is should I keep buying in Colorado or in Denver? And, I mean, you and I have talked this over and over. I am a huge proponent of owning rental properties. And, I
Hmm.
own myself. Um, I was on a recent meeting with another panel of property managers, and some would say it kind of depends on your goals. What are you trying to accomplish? If you're holding for the long term, then maybe Denver's still a great option. If you're trying to do a quick turn, Denver might not be, because our cap rates are lower, our prices are higher, and getting that 10% is long gone. But
Yeah.
I believe that Denver is a very well sought after city. Our economy, despite all of this going on, is still very strong, and the rent and the mortgage rates are phenomenal. So to me, it's still a win situation. And I just want you to know, people say, is there renters on the other side? And the answer to that is yes. And certainly families, because companies are still coming to Denver. So I'm still a proponent of owning an investment home.
And nothing is scaring you in the present from you buying another one at the moment.
No, we just did. We just closed in
That's
May. So
yeah.
I will tell you that some of us property managers in the National Association feel we could feel a second wave of this in the fall. So that's where I'm kind of anticipating August, September. If this continues on and we can't get back to work, or tenants can't get back to work, most of them can work from home. But for those folks that can't, then the second wave of this, of not being able to make rent payments, could come in to play. And so that's where I'm kind of waiting what August and September is going to look like. If I can get it through to the end of the year, then I feel like we've escaped. We've had a near miss type of thing. But every month I'm grateful that people are communicating, and I communicate with my owners where we are. I mean, I don't know if you heard, but the moratorium for evictions just got extended to June 13th now in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes owners nervous, and I'll tell you, when the legislation went back into session, there were some crazy bills that they drew up while we were all shelter in place. Crazy. So we've been working remotely to testify against those bills. So it's still a crazy thing. Definitely be linked with a professional management company that knows what's going on in the Denver market, but also knows the legislation that's going on actively. So that would be my recommendation for anybody.
Great. Well, Annemarie, thank you. I'm glad. I appreciate the time.
Sure.
Glad to hear everything's good on your end. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And of course, I will put links to your website and contact details in the show notes so people can reach out to you. And yeah, hopefully we'll have you back on here next month as well to give us another update.
Happy to. Enjoy your day.
Yes. Thanks.